You're lacking something that can just play make off the bat, like Magnus can, but a core Magnus also farms Echo Saber first into the blink. So you might be stalling out your potential to fight here, which we saw in game one. MG.Trust, again, they've got Clockwork and Snapfire again, plus an Ember, which can tie into the aggression so much better. There are certain things to consider there for a Team Star in bringing their fight out. They have to be very careful about tying themselves into a core ET. I think that has to be support. Like, core ET is still potent. No, but if it's a support ET plus Rubik just sounds really bad as well. That's two pause fours. One of them has to sit in the pause five.
I mean, I suppose you just run the plus 5 ET in that case, if that was the deal. I mean, that's something we
Hmm.
do tend to see often enough to kind of make it viable.
Hmm.
Motivate.Trust, they won't really think too much though, John. They go straight into the Bat Rider. So, should be an off-lane bat, but it is a pretty flexible pick to have. Could go either way. Team Star, they'll make their fourth pickup now, as it looks like I might be having connection issues.
Ooh.
Hopefully not. Looks like the speed is slowly going back up, John. So let's hope that was just a one-off kind of thing. But the Batrider, a nice pickup, John. Very powerful in the laning stage, as we know, and
Mhm.
it has been a much more popular pick as of late, I'd say.
Yeah. You've got the added advantage here that Team Star cannot sneak in anything with a purge. So they go with the jug, right? But you don't have room for a support that can say go for an instant purge. There's no room for avenge for one. There's no room for an Abaddon. There's no room for an LC unless Magnus goes mid and they just kind of slide something else on the off. Juggernaut here, of course, for Team Star. And that's your Magnus hero. That's the empower target here for Team Star. So a little bit easier for Lance with the spin and the healing ward. There's more potential there for laning aggression with potentially the Rubik and Elder Titan as your lane partners. You can kind of get that done. But I think MG.Trust does have pretty good response. Like, yeah, Jug against Batrider. Once you spin, Batrider can't do anything. At the same time, that spin won't save you from lasso once that's up. So it's a bit of a back and forth there with this Jug core for Team Star.
Certainly is. We'll see the final banouts now, John, and we'll see what these drafts are going to finish up like. Ricky is removed now from Team Star, so not wanting to have a repeat of what happened in Game 1, which is fair enough. What else do you have here for Jackie?
Mm.
I mean, he can go into the PL pickup, which we do see a lot from him.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the pick to make, though, is a different story entirely. Like, you are up against a Jug and a Magnus for that matter, so you are going to have that clear for the illusions.
Yeah. It's not very easy to maintain that spam. I like the Slark if it wasn't banned out. I think that would have been really, really strong against the Jug. It's a really weird back and forth because of Omni Slash, but can kind of work in the Slark's favor for the most part. And you can see the Mars being banned out here from MG.Trust. Again, we saw that in game one. They don't want to deal with it again. Team Star, looks like again they're locking into Magnus as a core, probably mid unless they pick something else here. They've got to show their hand soon.
That they do. Team Star.
5 seconds remain.
What do you want as your final pickup? Are they lacking an offlane? Are they lacking a mid? Seems though Motivate.Trust believe that they're lacking an offlane hero here. Just judging by the LC and Mars ban, of course. I would agree with them on that as well. Like, I really would prefer not to see this this Magnus or ET in the offlane.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather them just pick something more stable in the offlane and just put the mag mid, in this case for Team Star, if that's what they want to do. This is another thing I've seen, John. A lot of silencers popping up, and believe it or not, it's been a mixed bag. Sometimes it's support, sometimes it's a core pickup. It's just hard to tell.
It is. I think day one of Monster Energy Dota Summit 13, we actually saw Among Us March draft that silencer as well. And it has been popping in. Southeast Asians been experimenting with it. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's one way to break out the fights, and oh my god, MG.Trust. They're not joking around.
No.
They take the Arc Warden. They're done with this.
No, not like this. You've they went to the dark side, John. There's nothing left for Jackie. He said, "Screw it. You've taken everything else off me. What's left?" The Arc Warden makes its appearance. It's
It,
it's a disgusting
oof.
hero, isn't it, John? Look at him, just
That-
trembling.
It is, and it's not the best Arc Warden game in terms of maximizing your bubble in this case, right? You're up against melee cores for the most part. There's this global silence that can kind of wreck you if you're not careful. It can be a great back and forth. I think Team Star has corrected some of those issues with aggression, so they can fight. It's just global silence is a very long cooldown. They have to maximize that every chance they get. They've also got this Candy Loon ET, so it is going to be the off-lane Titan here, the mid Magnus, and the support silencer. So we'll see how much Candy Loon can bring out in that lane against the Arc Warden. Should be easy enough to at least contest the camps and kind of keep track of that with the spirit coming out here from the ET. But it's a bit of a shakeup from both teams. I think MG.Trust is a lot closer to their game one draft because of a clockwork snap. Team Star, they're forced to play a bit differently. The Magnus has shifted roles. Lance is on a more stable pause one, at least something that can uh, farm up a bit safer and also join fights a bit safer and can actually opt for the Mask of Madness with not too many issues. I think that's also something for Lance to watch out for. Hard to say who came out on top with draft. I want to say MG.Trust, simply because Clockwork Snap, it's just so straightforward, so easy to pull off.
It is, John, and looking at this Arc Warden, as much as I hate the hero personally, in terms of catch potential here on Team Star, you don't really have much. You've got the Magnus and you've got the ET, but that's pretty much it. They're not really your kind of guaranteed lockdown for the Arc Warden either. You'd rather have something like the Clockwork that can hookshot in and just hold the Arc Warden down a bit. But you don't have that for Team Star, so I can understand why MG.Trust went ahead and picked it up in the first place. It's just a free Arc Warden game.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well what MG.Trust is seemingly opting to do here. They've put Jackie up top, so it's looking like an early aggressive trial lane here first to kick it off, and it's just playing into what you said. What can a Jug really do against the against this Arc Warden and laning? Like, they're already starting Lance down. They actually had a feeling about this and swapping Lance to the off lane as well.
That's a smart way to play it. In fact, Lance right now is in the mid lane. I doubt he'll stay there, but he's probably just going to make sure he's in position to make his way down to the bot lane if he feels he needs to. That definitely would be the smarter choice to make here for Lance. We'll see if Motivate.Trust want to keep up the lane switching between the two teams. It's really going to be up to them once they do see Lance going down to that bot lane. If you are Motivate, though, it does seem like they are pretty kind of set on making this lane happen with this trial lane. So we'll see if they do get what they wanted.
Yeah, it's Lance is still running around. Yeah, it looks like Candy's gonna swap. Of course, Lance is ready for the Bat Rider lane. This is what they want to avoid here on MG.Trust. Talk about Bat versus Jug laning phase. Once you spin for Lance, you just negate all of the progress monsters can make and all of the damage he can get done. So it looks like they will be able to read out well, Star, and that's a big props to them. They should get off to a better, smoother laning start with this lane swap.
Yeah, and I mean, against the Silencer as well, once you have the Arcane Curse up, it becomes a lot harder for Masteros to spam those sticky napalms, as he just ends up hurting himself every single time. See how Masteros does deal with it. This is certainly not what he wanted to see in his bot lane, but he'll have to deal with it now. And the Bat Rider's one thing, John, but these Silencers, they are quite lane dominant. I don't really see much that Masteros can do to try and negate the damage that Mosin should be able to pump out.
No, there's really not much you can do. That's down to Q. We do drag the Snapfire down here, so it's down to Q on the Snap to kind of zone out Mosin as best as possible, try to free up space for Masteros, but you can see Lance already comfy. He's not being forced back. He has his level 1 spin, should be good to go to farm. Now, looking down mid, where we have DDC on the Magnus this time, up against Fearless on the Ember. Fearless is It's going to be a bit more even here for DDZ in terms of a Magnus versus Ember. Should be able to just find some solid farm coming through for both sides. You do have to watch out for, I want to say, level 3s when an Ember can really start to dish it in compared to a Magnus who just gets steady wave clear. Gonna have to watch for that early spike on the Ember and secure those runes. Don't want the Ember Spirit to get a nice juicy haste rune and start running you down.
No, you do not. Because while you were talking about that, John, bot lane, we did have a bit of an aggressive move out onto Mosin. He did manage to TP out in time, however, but it looks like Masaros is really giving it over to this silencer. And for Mosin, I mean, he obviously wants to hit that level 2 to have that Arcane Curse up. Now he does have it, so when he is getting, you know, spammed with that sticky napalm, he can just kind of use the Arcane Curse and walk away. Still top lane. Candy and Boombell going at it. Candy trying to man fight and does get away with it. He had so much damage from that Astral Spirit. Looks like Boombell just getting a little bit overly confident there on the clockwork, and it does not pay off.
It's a costly kill to give away. Like, you let the ET kind of grow big fast. Candaloon can accelerate into this Meteor Hammer. We've seen the Stomp into Hammer just be so brutally effective as well in securing these fights. So you definitely don't want to give these early kills away. Candy's going to be pleased, though. Boombell, for his part, is buying space out for Jackie. He's not having a good time in terms of last hits just yet. 9-5 has slowed down quite a fair bit compared to Lance. There's still work to put in here to get this Arc Warden in a good spot.
Certainly is. Jackie just going to keep at it. Boombell going to go for the large camp pull, and he does manage to pull it off. Got to try and interrupt that if you can, and he will give it a shot, but he only gets one creep. Yamate, I'm not sure what he was trying to do there, but he was not in position to try and counter that large pull, and it's just not great news for Candaloon now, but he will contest naturally on the Elder Titan, but not necessarily the way you want to do it here in Boombell. He'll stick around trying to snipe that large centaur away, but Candaloon will be able to take it anyway. So it's not all bad news here for Team Star.
Yeah, I'd say this is actually really strong laning starts. Like, I'm looking at bot again, you can see just how low Q and Masaros get. They just can't afford to trade with Mosin anymore. The Arcane Curse, as you mentioned, is such a brutal laning spell against these heroes that love to spam it out. And because of that, Lance is having the time of his life. 17-8. Still slightly ahead of our Arc Warden, but this is just a fantastic start for your Jug.
Q, they go after Mosin, but that healing ward being very annoying. Still, Masaros will get it, but now the spin is out from Lance. They do end up getting Mosin, but they will lose Masaros in return. And I don't believe Team Star will be very upset with that. You got the offlane Batrider for the price of a position 5 silencer. There's nothing to complain about here for Team Star.
Yeah, it's an excellent trade to make. I think you were forced to do that if you're Masaros. Again, you wanted to just reset. You got a full bottle now as well for your efforts, and you get to go back and try to spam out. Of course, killing off the silencer also gives the opportunity for the bottle refill mid, and DDZ does get done from Mosin, calling him over to just get a full bottle in. You can see the efficiency here of DDZ, just stacking up the jungle in between waves, clearing out the stacks, kind of building himself a nice nest egg. 33-6 compared to our Ember's 25-5. Been a smooth start for DDZ.
Standard stuff for the mid-back. They always end up getting way more CS than anyone else on the map, just based off the Empower. All props to Fearless though, right? Like, he is keeping up quite nicely considering he is an Ember. He, of course, does have the Flame Guard to be able to abuse onto those neutral camps, but would say it's less effective compared to the Empower. Bot lane, Mosin gonna find Masaros' courier. Masaros not happy about that. Will go after Mosin, but he might just die here. The Scatter Blast will slow them down. Mosin now getting jumped back on here by Masaros, and Masaros does barely get the kill. And I do mean barely, John. It was a very close call, but the Scatter Blast slowing the movement speed for a second, and it was enough for him to juke them out.
Yeah, it's on the edge for MG.Trust. They are still, I think considering the fact that you are laning against a Jug who can spin away, against a Silencer who is punishing against this kind of hero, it is still a pretty good result.
Mid lane, yeah, DDZ gets the RP off. Fearless gonna try and run it out of there, and does barely make it out. My goodness, really playing with fire there. But Fearless, he does call himself fearless for a reason, John. Did
Yeah,
get the haste
just
rune that he wanted.
He wins out and forces out that first RP. Of course, Fearless is very fearless. Just never mention recalibration to him. I believe we had a bit of chatter in lobby. He, not the best of times to recalibrate, friends. Gotta double check if you really want to risk it.
It's a bit of a silly system, John. He went 6 and 4 in his calibration and lost 800 MMR anyway. So
Not good enough, you know?
No.
6 to 4, ha! You need to win 10 and 0 and lose 200 MMR. That's how it is.
it's tough for the recalibration, boys. Especially when you're that high of an MMR as well. I don't think Valve plays nice if you're that high. Gotta go down a bit. It's,
Yeah.
inflation, John, it's a problem.
It is. It is. Still, what else is a problem here is the fact that, you know, Star is still having a fantastic start. I think the key things for MG.Trust is that you've got level 6 and Lance ahead of Masaros' 6. So now you have to watch how far deep you want to dive with your Flame Break Hand. He is Contempt Fate.
Yeah, he'll go for the spin now. Masaros trying to TP out, will barely make it out. But that is a spin TP, or rather a spin into a TP onto the Bat Rider all the way back to the fountain.
Q?
Getting Omni Slash does actually walk away for a second, but Mosin is able to secure the kill in the end, and it wasn't the nicest Omni Slash, but they get the kill. So no complaints here for Team Star.
No. It was a bit awkward though. Like, you can see what they were trying to do. Q was baiting out after the spin. He got the cookie off. He got the scatter blast off. Not quite enough damage. On the edge. And that's been the story of this series. Of this game at the least. 2-3. 1k lead for Star. But there were so many close calls. Both sides are just being a lot more cautious. Or rather, maybe reckless would be the right word. But on the edge of what would be acceptable. You can see DDZ now trying to scout around the jungle. Is going to intercept some farm from Masaros. And again, just setting our Bat Rider back by a fair bit farm. And this early movement into the jungle is just going to disrupt that early buildup that MG.Trust wants to secure for their cores.
Bot lane, Fearless. Nice rotation out, does end up getting the kill onto the Jug solo. He did have a double damage rune active, which certainly helped the cause. All things being said, John, it's still a very even game between these two. The one thing I'm concerned about here for Team Star is the fact that Jackie is still being uncontested. He has not been punished. He does have the Midas up now, while the rest of his team is dying around him. With that Midas up, he's going to be feeling a lot better about himself, and in fact, they're not even going to kill off Q-Help at this top lane, Yamate. He'll be the one to go down as Masaros is thinking about going for more, but eventually thinks better of it. He got the kill he wanted. And as long as Jackie's farming, they just couldn't care less.
Yeah, they're still finding those wins. As you mentioned, the Midas is up here for Jackie. So it's time to just play with the clones going around, getting the Midas usage out. They might go for
Fearless.
something here, though.
Mosin, very, very low down at that bot lane. Fearless does not want to dive. He has plenty of stacks of Arcane Curse on him as we speak. It's like he is going to be just fine, however. Or maybe not, as DDZ now going to rotate around with the RP up. Fearless wants that banner rune, does not get it. Went for that cheeky sleight of fist play for that bounty, but ultimately doesn't get it, but it doesn't really matter as he did not die. Meanwhile, mid lane, Moonbelt trying to chase down Lance, doesn't really get him. Still top lane, Candyloon is getting very, very low. Spark Wraith will not connect. Jackie still going for another, but that won't connect either. Candy will barely get away with his life intact. Jackie, however, will continue to free farm.
Yep, and that's again the big story. Like this Arc Warden free farm versus a Jug free farm, it's not really comparable. Look at Jackie's already level 9, Lance in comparison is 7 and 8. They will find a tier 1 bot first because of this Z creep right next to it, but Fortify is forced out. Jackie's going to try to get the same trade up top. Should be able to find the tower trades, but MG.Trust is going to line up for a different objective. Looking mid. Just one here defending. Mosin's got to be careful with his spacing here.
Yeah, they are waiting there on Masaros. In fact, Masaros might even get a better target here. Candaloon, he's going to run in, but no, he's going for the TP out. He's going down towards that bot lane where he'll find Lance and gets the Firefly off in to the lasso. It's not going to be enough damage though, Lance. No, it is going to be enough damage. He did not spin. Meanwhile, mid lane, Candy getting caught out by Boombell into the Mortimer's Kisses of Q. Not the greatest of fights here from Team Star, and well, that bottom lane one really surprised me, John. He had the spin and the Omni Slash, but decided to commit neither of them.
I think he was just outside of range of casting the Omni. Like, he was trying to chase in to get the Omni off, but couldn't gap close enough, and that's one issue with a Jug. Omni Slash cast range can be awkward against some range targets, and against something like the Bat, you know, when you're kited around, it is rather difficult. You can see the emphasis here from MG.Trust. They don't play slow. They're buying space out for the chorus. They're shoving in key objectives. Again, keeping that pressure in that mid-tier 1. Star now can't afford to go around farming because they cannot allow the mid-tier 1 to fall as well.
Candy gonna get picked off here by Fearless and Boombell, it looks like. He needs some help and he needs it ASAP, but Fearless, he's got another double Tamadrune active. He just takes him out so darn quick. And Stars, I mean, they're kind of stuck trying to react here to MG.Trust, but this is just not what you want. You need to be the aggressive team here in this game, number 2. Especially with the Arc Warden, and what a great hook shot in from Boombell. Straight onto Mosin, and this poor Silencer is going nowhere. In fact, looks like Fearless does catch another Yamate, trying to run, but the Remnant is going to be enough from Fearless. And they have found a bunch of stacks, John. They have found a lot of stacks, in fact, in that die triangle.
Oh, that is so juicy. What a good play coming out from MG.Trust. Taking the mid-tier 1, taking these stacks, getting the farm away from Lance. And this is just what you want as, you know, when you draft the Jug Mag, you want to clear these stacks. They need to get some control back in the jungle now, Star. They've lost 2 tier 1s. They did take one for down bot earlier on, but they need to kind of trade here. They need to go for the mid-tier 1 when they can. They've got Global Silence. They have to play with that spell. We talked about it from draft. It's a long cooldown. They need to maximize it every single time.
They need to take that Ancient stack right now. They'll get Boombell first. Luckily for them, Motivate.Trust does not have the kind of lineup that takes Ancient stacks like that this early on. You would need at least something like a Maelstrom on Jackie to get that done. Speaking of, by the way, I believe he does have it up very, very soon. If not right now. And yeah, he does. It's on the courier. So, had he had that a minute ago, he probably would have just taken the whole Ancient stack himself.
Yeah, there are some good timings as well on top of that. You see the blink up on Masaros, so they can get that easy lasso access in the back line now with a Batrider. Potentially looking to really just blow out Mosin. I think you will have to focus on that Silencer, take him out when the Global Silence is up to prevent it from being casted, or hunt the Jugger Magnus. And there is a smoke out wanting to reveal this item.
Yeah, absolutely. Why the hell not? They'll bait out with the Roshan. Master. Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah. Got the illusion. And, he's trying to be quick with the reactions. He might get DDZ anyway, though. DDZ, he stuck around, and now Boombell got the cogs off. DDZ, he'll RP the clockwork. I mean, I don't know if you'd call that word. Oh, Boombell, he's just going to hookshot straight back in after him. Masaros does get the flame break off. It's like they have gotten a 1-for-0 trade here on Team Star, so you could maybe call that worth, but there was no need for the RP.
No.
Absolutely zero need for that. I mean, you could have just waited for the Global Silence, which came in anyway.
Yeah, a bit of a wasted spell. That will give MG.Trust some opportunity to go around if they want to. I mean, they lose Boombell, but they did force out 2 big ults. And we talk about the cooldowns there, Mike. Those are not short spells. And MG.Trust, what did they really blow? Lasso, which it's not too long now, just half a minute off. Hookshot in 15. There is a blink from Star, but you're not playing with that blink without RP.
No, you aren't. Mid lane, Fearless going to have a go here onto Candy. It's like Fearless probably won't have enough damage right now to really take this Elder Titan out by himself. But it looks like he does find a nice Arcane rune for himself on the Ember. So we'll save that for the next fight. And while all this commotion is happening, Jackie is still freely farming on that Arc Warden. Top of the net worth board at 8.7k. We've seen this many times before, John. If you don't stop these Arc Wardens, they get out of control. There's just no way to stop them in the late game if they have this much free farm.
Yeah, it's getting a bit scary. Like, that lead here for MG.Trust has been consistent, 3k lead. And it's not like the other cores are lagging too far behind. Like, Masaros and Fearless are actually keeping pace with Lance, which is, again, a jug with Empower. So you're really not building too much of a lead with the Empower here. The only saving grace is that DBZ is in a pretty good spot. Is second in the pack, so you have that, but they haven't really focused down on Jackie, which is surprising. We talked about Star having a much faster draft, much more aggressive heroes. They have not focused on that aspect, and it's almost a similar playstyle to Game 1, except MG.Trust is also playing slower because of Jackie, but they still found the objectives. Like, they're starting to shove in the top. There are lots of rates just watching around now, so a TP defense is going to be hard, and it's just going to naturally chip away down as Star are smoked up, though.
Are you going to make it in time? Like, Jackie, is he going to commit? Oh, he doesn't have a creep wave right now, so he'll have to back off. They're going to go into that mid lane, but it's not worth the smoke for a clockwork kill. Boombell going to get caught out, but Motivate.Trust honestly are probably going to be okay with that. So they could just go after this tier 2 tower now, knowing exactly where Team Trust are. And there is a Juggernaut dying, John. Masaros is on the chase right now with Jackie. He'll commit the Omni, but into the neutrals. Masaros gets it perfect. He'll survive on 80 HP Lance. He'll be able to run away. But that's another ultimate wasted. And meanwhile, top lane, they'll go after Fearless, and they will be able to get him. The Global Silence does hold down the Ember. Wasn't able to get that. In fact, it was already on cooldown. The Yule Scepter was able to purge off the silence.
Yeah, it's a decent kill. I think that's one of the best kills Star has picked up in the past few minutes. Taking down Fearless, of course, delays the Ag's timing. And this is a bit of an awkward ramp up for Ember. Yule's into the straight Ags, so it's important to get it at a very early timer. Every single moment it's delayed for Fearless is never nice. That near miss down bot as well. I think you're happier if you're Star. Like, yeah, you expended the Omni Slash, but it's not like Lance has been joining these fights. You can see it as MG.Trust wasting the lasso instead. So Masaros is offset for a bit. Gonna have to wait out a bit more. Does need the Yules, which is fairly close. 1,000 golden bank, about 650 off until he finishes up the Yules. Once you have that in your Bat Rider, should be in a better spot to kind of contest. In fact, that's what we're lacking here from MG.Trust, defensive items. Like, Yules on Fearless is nice. After the Ags, though, you need a BKB. Right?
You do.
Like, you saw it there. When that Yules is on cooldown, you're just kind of screwed. They will need additional defensive items. But, again, the pace of the game is so slow that you can't fault them for not having it. They're just farming anyway.
Yeah. Looks like Fearless is going to just opt to go for an Aghanim Scepter build up first. So just wanting to continue the aggression. I believe the idea for Motivate.Trust here is they don't really mind if they die or if they're wasting their own time, as long as Jackie's farming. They know he's going to be able to carry them through the late game.
Yeah,
So
Candy.
he's in a bit of danger, but they have no way to cancel that TP, so he will be okay to TP out. But Jackie's just going to continue this aggression up at that top lane. And there just doesn't seem to be an answer right now. They're not even bothering to make their way up because they know they have no way to hold him down. And now, well, Boombell goes for a hook shot there onto DDZ, but ends up missing and hitting a creep. That time being bought. Jackie, a free T2 tower.
Yeah, it's as you mentioned, just rinse and repeat, get the space out for the Arc Warden, and Star is now just playing this awkward game where, for some reason, they want to play a farming game against Arc Warden. Like Lance, again, it's not a support Magnus, so you don't have DDZ babysitting you to feed you some empowers. This is a lot slower for pace, and you're going to TP for the defense.
And Masaros does have the lasso up. He'll go after the Rubik rather than going after the Jug. They don't want to waste their time going after the Jug. In fact, maybe now they will. Boombell goes in for the battery assault. Lance still not spinning. Will eventually commit it with the TP out, and he should be right. Meanwhile, mid lane, Fearless going in after Candaloon with Jackie there. They'll cancel off the stomp with the Yule Scepter. Candy still trying to make a run for it. Fearless going back to the back lines. They'll go after Mosin instead. Just go for the easier kill. And while they did that, Jackie has already gotten started on pushing out that mid wave. And if they really wanted to, they could try to pressure that mid tier 2 tower, but it looks like they're pretty satisfied with just continuing the farm game.
Yeah, why not? Jackie's already got the Mjolnir up, so fully upgraded, can really just play that split push game now. Star has not progressed beyond that tier 1 bot, which is again the same issue we saw in game 1. Star couldn't take objectives then, and it's not too much better now. It's just the tier 1 bot they've taken out. They need to find more. The mid tier 1 has got to go for Star so that they can start to invade that jungle and play a bit more aggressive. It's just they don't have the opportunity to do so.
Fearless is in again. Candy gonna miss out on the stomp. A great hook shot in from Boom Bell, but here comes the RP now from DDZ. They want to try and turn it, and they will. They have to commit so many ultimates for that, but it is well worth it. They'll defend that tier 2. They'll protect everyone on their team. With that, they may feel a bit more comfortable now to start trying to pressure that tier 1 mid tower.
Yeah, as long as they transition that into an objective, I think you're not going to have too many issues. The issue is they've lost their tier 1 bot. They're forcing Lance back once more up top. You can see the back and forth here. The issue is that the kisses of Q get cancelled by Global. So after this Ags, Q, I think, has to consider a BKB as well, just to kind of pop it afterwards, or maybe a self-purge, a Lotus Orb wouldn't be too bad as well, or support snap. But even if they lost 2 heroes, you already talked about it earlier, Jackie just free farms. Lance does not get the same space out, and that lead with the Arc Warden is growing wider. It's about 2k now, and Jackie's eyeing the rush.
Why not? In we go, Jackie. He'll get it started. Boom Bell will pop the drums to help Jackie out here, and with that magnetic field, it's just that easy. It's not really much to talk about. In fact, mid lane, Lasso is going to be out onto Candaloon. He'll try to make a run for it, but Fearless is going to be on the chase with the chains out. He's trying to get the stomp off, but the Yules will cancel it. Still DDZ now going to come back in, back after the Bat Rider. They do manage to get that kill. Still, there's the Aghanim Scepter coming out onto Fearless with the Remnants out, but it's not enough. Candy will continue to survive as now Fearless going to make a run for it. And yeah, they lose the Bat Rider. They don't really get much in return, but Jackie, he did finish off the Roshan. He got the Aegis. He is back to split pushing on the Arc Warden.
Yeah, and he's rushing into that Hurricane Pike as well, so it's going to be easier for him to get himself in a good spot. Once that's up, and because of his farm, that's going to be up really soon, just about 1,000 gold away. So once you've got that, you're in a really comfy spot on the Arc Warden. You can see Q as well. The Ags reveal not the most impactful, but now that's going to give... It's going to put Star on edge, because now they have to worry about this ridiculous range on the spit out. I even forget how far that actually is. But
It's huge.
Ridiculous. It's insane. Star, though, brave move. They do smoke up. They have the RP and Global Silence. It's their time to make a play if they want to.
They've got to get it done. Off we go, DDZ up towards the top lane. He'll have a gander here at Fearless. See if he can try to get this RP off onto the Ember as Yamate gets lift off. And DDZ will immediately commit that RP, and it is well worth it for the Ember. Nice little smoke out from Star, and of course with that they will be able to retake their outpost. That they will. You can just continue to make those kind of small plays. You could easily make your way back into the game. Even looking over to Lance, John, I mean, he's behind in net worth in comparison to Jackie, but he does have that Eye of Skadi up, and as I say that, he'll get lassoed and brought on top of the cliff. He'll go for a spin TP up, but the hook shot is there from Boom Bell, and now Lance is officially stuck, and he will just burn on top of the cliff as they put down the Spark Race, but Mosin is there with Candy. More fire to come out. There's your Global Silence, but Jackie is just continuing to hit away with the Tempest Double. Lance is trying to survive this, but it's just such a slow and painful death. And Jackie with the Aghanim Scepter snap by, just throwing out a creep, getting 2, and it's just domination from Motivate.Trust. Mazros even looking for more, but won't be able to get anyone. They lost Boom Bell on the clockwork, but really, who cares? It means nothing.
Yeah. Boom Bell doesn't care. He threw his body out for a good cause. That is the saddest way to watch a Jug die. I think we've seen a lot of heroes die across the years, Mike. That was the saddest one. Hands down the saddest moment I've ever seen. If I had a small tiny violin, I'd play it. That was just painful. But Star, getting a bit complacent. Again, they pop the GS, sure, you break out the kiss, yeah. But everything else from MG.Trust still lines up. You were playing without RP, and Global Silence alone is just not enough. RP is the follow-up, and they just can't land it without DDZ, you know, when they commit it early. Have to line up that initiation a bit better here. If you are a Star, the lead is still widening. You still have opportunities to play, but their objectives are melting.
Jackie just with the Tempest double. Get broken here by DDZ. 300 gold over to the Magnus is going to be quite nice, but these Arc Warden players, John, they just don't really seem to care about that either. They just continue throwing those Tempest doubles in and pushing out waves. It's literally what the hero does. You don't actually play the main hero.
Nope. You just toss that double around. They're going to find another tier 2. So that's going to be one outer tower left for the side of Team Star. They're maximizing the time they have outside, farming the jungles up. But you've got the situation now. Fearless has the Ags up, rushing the BKB next. And Ember with Ags is just insanely mobile. Like, they've been trying out all their big spells to catch him out. They're going to have to do it.
Here we go again. They'll commit the RP, and it should be enough. Boombo trying to help out with the hook shot, but it won't be good. Still Jackie on top of the hill is going to try and fight back here with the Tempest double. Now Mazros to jump in as well. Global Silence committed. He will use off the silence, but Mazros has gone too far and will go down. Still Jackie trying to fight back now. Throws his real self in, I believe. He might be in danger. He's been silenced up and does go down with the Aegis, but now the Gobble up once again on the Tempest double. He just flies in. Jackie still trying to fight this one out, but they put him to sleep. Jackie doesn't want to be a part of this anymore, I don't believe. So Mazros says, no, we're not done yet. He'll go after the Rubik. They'll get Yamate. Into the mid-tier 2 tower it is. And it's gone.
I mean, that was actually really perfect timing on the Aegis. That was, I believe they were just a few seconds off from it expiring. So Jackie, knowing when it would expire, maximizes it in the biggest way. Now you're in an awkward spot. Star, no RP, no Global Silence, high ground exposed. Fortunately, MG.Trust doesn't look to be in complete position, but look at Candy, just melt from the double.
Boombill, calm down, sir. Just a bit of a flex hook shot.
Oh.
DDZ doesn't have the RP for 10 seconds. Gobble up is going to land onto the Auto Titan, but here comes DDZ with a great skewer in. RP up in 3. We'll get Boombill. Now the sleep is good. Masaros, he'll have to go for a run. Meanwhile, Q trying to run out of there, but there's the RP. DDZ, he's got the real Arc Warden, but where's your damage output? Jackie is going to be out of there. The Tempest double, meanwhile, still going at Candyloon. In fact, now they'll go after Lance, who will be forced to spin TP away, and he'll be just fine. But now Fearless just going to keep going for more after Candyloon, and they will get another. There goes the Auto Titan. 8k net worth lead now for Motivate.Trust, and I've got to ask you the hard question, John. What do Team Star need to do?
They need to get better team fights. Like, the RP flies in, but they don't have the follow-up Earth Splitter. And when you don't have that, what's the Elder Titan pick for? Like, a walking aura? If you wanted the ET for that, it didn't have to be a core. You know, it didn't need to be a core ET in that case, and I think that's the biggest issue here. They're not able to maximize the ET in the team fights. We only see GS, we only see RP scattered, and look at this, Lasso.
Nice Lasso into the Gobble Up play onto Mosen, and he just does not survive the damage output. There's no way in hell. There's Jackie now. We'll go back up towards the high ground. Lance will take care of the Tempest double, but here we go again. A nice skew out though from DDZ. He's caught the real Jackie, and Jackie is going to die. Great play out from DDZ. That'll be enough for the side of Team Star, I believe, as they do just need to make a run for it now. DDZ, can he catch anyone out? Hook shot, Boombill not going to land on anyone as they do continue the chase onto Masaros. Boombill going to push them back with the cogs. Masaros is actually sticking around here. Goes in for a flame break. Does actually blink his way out as now Fearless going to jump in. Global Silence is there. He does still have the Yules up, but just sees no need to use it. He gets lifted. They will continue the chase onto Masaros as Fearless is coming back in now after Yamate. He'll get the chains off. Onto 2. Earthsplitter going to be there. Fearless will Remnant dodge that and the cookie for that matter. And after all that, John, nobody dies. They just run around in circles and that'll be it.
Yeah, just a bit of a game of tag. I think in the end, Star is happy holding on to their high ground because they found that kill on the Arc Warden. Jackie has to be a bit cautious, cannot underestimate the damage out. But of course, we're seeing some ways to play here. Yamate is now key for how these fights break out.
Down Mosin. Cannablast going to be there. Fearless, he'll have the follow-up damage. No way Mosin's getting out of that. In fact, Boombo gets him, but now DDZ, a great RP out. He got 2 of them. The Yule's going to disrupt for a bit, but the Omni is there from Lance now. The full-scale team fight will begin as Jackie does come back in, but he does not want a part of this. He's trying to get out of there. Still Masaros looking for a lasso. Does manage to pick it up onto Lance. And do they have the damage output? Yeah, they definitely do. That Arc Warden just hitting way too hard. It's now Fearless. Going to go in for a chase onto our Elder Titan to stop. Going to be cancelled off, and Candy just cannot survive as Masaros finds another in the form of Yamate. That'll be a 3rd kill out for Jackie. And they will go straight after the tier 3 tower. There's no way to stop this.
No. They threw their bodies out, Star, just a bit too far forward. Get punished for it. MG.Trust now going to find basically every objective they want. Like Silences, Global Silence is a bit far out, RP is a bit far out, although...
DDZ, great skewer back, but there's your hook shot out from Boombill now trying to turn it back around, and DDZ, he'll pop the BKB, just trying to make a run for it. They might just lose Mosin instead, and they will. Fearless able to pick up the kill. Mosin, he does have buyback, but it's not really like it's going to help.
No, they definitely won't. They're going to be in a bit of an awkward spot. DBZ's RP still some time off, 14 seconds away, but they're going to lose their racks first. So maybe wait out the cooldown of RP and then look for it to play. Otherwise, they just have to surrender that the high ground has been lost. And MG.Trust not playing too overconfidently. They do pull back. Top wave is still shoved out. You're going to have to correct that. Roche is up as well. Could be prime time for MG.Trust to just set their eyes onto that Roshan first.
Team Star, they're just kind of lost here. It just feels like there's nothing they can do at this point. What's Dota Plus saying? 88%. So it's not too bad. I honestly would have believed it would have been a lot higher than that. But they've got a 12% chance of winning this game according to the AI. See how that turns out.
They've got to get a win with a smoke. They've got the RP needs to be big.
They're down Fearless. That'd be a big one. Oh, but he has an Aeon Disc. Still the RP is out, but Boombo with a great hook shot in. He's bought enough time. Fearless, no. The Earth Splitter is going to connect in time, and now Masaros going to waste the Omni Slash of Lance, but he will die anyway. The Goblop not going to be there in time. Meanwhile, Jackie with the Tempest Double, he's trying to fight back. But Team Star, they do not believe they can fight it, so they just make a run for it. That is still a successful team fight for them, though, on the side of Team Star. Getting 2 core pickoffs there. Did cost them all their ultimates, though. So,
yeah,
they can't really fight now.
Gotta be cautious in the next fight. They've got the Swift Slash at the least here on Lance because of the Ags and they smoke off. They want the Roche, but they're aware.
Lance just spinning around and trying to get some vision here. Jackie getting ready with the spark rates, but look at DDZ. He's smoking up with the rest of his team now. Boombill. It's a smoke, but the silver edge out. He does get the break off onto the clock and will eventually be able to kill him off. Oh no, the hook shot is out from Boombill.
No.
Trying to
No
TP
way.
out of there. Oh, he's actually going to make it out. Boom Bill. Oh, you can't just do that to them like that.
Oh, DDZ?
Yeah, Jackie. It's just the temper stumble, John. They'll be able to get it with the swift slash of Lance.
Oh, the damage of that is just ridiculous. And MG.Trust, just with those small plays, with damaging the Magnus enough, and with dodging the death on Boombell, they save the Aegis. It's not going to be taken in Mosin.
Oh. He does survive. So I truly believe there was no chance of him surviving that, but he makes it. I think there was a Spark Wraith following him, yeah.
It's still going. Long
Where
way
it
to
is.
Mosin.
There you go.
There you go. Awkward. It's a long ride.
Even when you have escaped the Arc Warden, John, you never truly escape the Arc Warden. It's always there's always something from the Arc Warden following you down, and there you go. Mosin finds out the hard way as they do smoke up again. RP's back up. Omni is also back up in 3 seconds.
Cool. But
They have the
smoke on
global.
MG.
No. The smoke broken. There's the RP out. They've got Fearless in there on the Ember with the global silence out, but do they have the damage? Fearless is still alive. DDZ, in fact, the one getting very, very low. He gets a skewer off onto Boombell, but that is not the target he wanted. Now Fearless going to jump into the backlines with the Cobble up straight onto Yamate. There's just no way out for him. He'll try to make a run. Where's the other team fight happening, though? Lance is being chased down here on the Jug, and he's just been left alone. A completely split team fight, and Jackie looks like he has had enough of this game, John. He's going after tier 4s now.
Oh yeah. It's the smart play. And they're just so farmed up now in MG.Trust. They know that even if the buybacks are there, what do you do? Without RP, without Global Silence, sure you have Omni Slash, but we've already got the tools here to stop it. There are Yules up, that Aeon Disc on Fearless has been so game-changing in these initiations. And now they force the buybacks, but there's nothing that can happen for Star. So you bought back, you can do nothing but farm up, not find any kills, and that opens up the rush for MG.Trust.
It does. And it's kind of like a I dare you to try and contest this Roshan right now. And they scan it out, but you know they can't fight it. Problem is they can't really afford to let it go either. But they don't really have a choice in the matter, John. It's gone.
Ooh, man. Star, it's got to be a perfect high ground now. I mean, they've got RP, and that is one of the better spells for a high ground defense. They just need to line it up. Like, these two-man RPs are big, but you can't focus on Fearless.
Masaros is looking for Lance. Oh, Masaros, not again. Come on now, Masaros. You can't fall for it twice.
Yeah. It's 2 times. I think that's the first time we've seen lassos twice over in Illus. So...
Well, the weird thing is as well, both illusions are standing right next to each other. It couldn't really be much more obvious that they're illusions, but I think he's trying to react so quickly before the Swift Slash or Omni Slash comes out that he kind of ignores the fact that, you know, there's 2 illusions standing right next to each other.
Yeah. Just jumping the gun, which it has paid off for Masaros before, so I can get where he's coming from. He's only using a ninja gear, and he's got his talents anyway, so the cooldown of that lasso is pretty low. Not too much of a waiting time, as they're starting to eye that last set of racks. And this is where the high ground defense has to be perfect. Jackie is just going to chip away by himself. They pop Fortify for a Tempest double.
Arc Warden, John. It's perfect balance. This hero is amazing.
Especially with a Princess Knife, Mike. You know? Perfect.
Absolutely. Why not just give him a level up? Make the game a bit faster for him.
Oh,
Ganaloon does not want to be close by to Jackie right now. He'll make a run for it, but that tier 3 tower cannot run. It is stuck to the earth. Just have to take the punishment that Jackie is going to dish out. This is what Dota's come to, John. Illusions versing a Tempest double. This is,
Yep.
You may not like it, but this is the peak of Dota 2 right now, in this current meta.
Oh boy. I mean, we were talking about high ground defense for the RPs. They have no opportunity because of how they're playing, and Fearless just flickers a few units down, and here we go again.
Yeah, why the hell not? Another Tempest double.
They're tier 4 still.
Yeah, tier 4's just going down to the creep wave. Like, what do you want to deal with here? DDZ, he's going to try and make a play for his team. Nobody's really showing for him to go after. He's going to try and scan out the tree line, but now Masros has got him with the lasso out. Global Silence is going to be there. The Yule's out onto the Magnus as well. They're just buying more time. As Boombill hooks his own Ember Spirit. Fearless just remnanted straight towards him. Jackie with the Tempest Double just going to kill off Candleloon, and now after Lance, here's the Remnants forward with the Mortimer's Kisses out. GDZ, he's trying to run. He'll have to skewer away. Meanwhile, Lance trying to fight Fearless, but he just can't. Not while there's Tempest Doubles here. No chance in hell. And that'll be Megas. No heroes necessary, John.
Nope. Definitely not. That's just one kill.
RP,
RP?
out from DDZ onto... Oh, that's not a great Swift Slash there. They're still going to get both. So both supports of Motivate.Trust going down, and now Jackie even sends them a Tempest Double just in case. They buy back immediately. Motivate.Trust, they don't really seem to care.
No. I think they're confident. They just want to close this one out. They know they've got this opportunity. They buy back because there's no RP for 100 seconds. No Global Silence for 40. Like, again, there's just nothing Star can actually do in a big fight. And refresh Ember for Fearless. I've seen it all. I saw Refresh Storm, if you believe it, Mike, in OEDL, and now this.
Wow. Okay. DDC missed the skewer there. The BKB was out from Masros. Still the Omni Slash doing a lot of damage, but eventually it does wear off. Now Fearless jumps back in with Boombill. Look at Jackie with the damage out onto the chug.
Oh.
Lance cannot survive, or maybe he can. The spin saves him from the gobble up damage, and now Fearless, he'll make a trip back to the fountain. But it's not his fountain he's gone to. Meanwhile, the tier 4s are under siege as Fearless was just left behind, but he gets out of there anyway. Ancient is exposed. Q gonna stun up this Juggernaut as they're trying to defend, but Jackie is just aiming down the Ancient. Now we'll go after Candleloon. There's Fearless with the Aeondis, just surviving through all the damage, remnanting forward, refreshes, gets all the remnants in, and they just called. They've had enough.
Oh my god.
Motivate.Trust.
Spectacular performance. Star looking a bit better. Again, they tied themselves into these cooldowns, Mike. RP and Global Silence, they had to play around those spells perfectly, and they couldn't. There were some moments of brilliance, not quite lining up. They played a farming game against Arc Warden, the most balanced heroes, you know, and MG.Trust, they just laughed themselves to the bank. They knew what would happen when you'd want to draw a game out like that, and the Arc Warden just wins.
Well, with that, John, of course, we are going to move on to our next series of the day. Because I have a terrible memory, I don't remember which one it is, but it is going to be Neon versus TNC Predator. And that's one we're very excited about, John, because you and I, we haven't seen a lot of these boys for about a month now. I know you really enjoy having a chat with the players, and
oh yeah,
we haven't really gotten to witness Whitemon in TNC yet, you and I, so gonna have a bit of a chat with Whitemon still, if he is still hitting the Roshan at the start of every game, and see if we can find out why. With that, though, it is MLP Dota and JohnXFire. We'll be back in about 10 minutes for our next series of the night. We'll see you then.